First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this would not be possible. Low Nose Boxing. Hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Let's get me to the first goal of 1,000 subscribers. I'm a little bit more than halfway there. Anyway, breaking news. Bochinche demasiado. Bochinche de boxeo, para que tú lo sepas. Salvador Rodriguez of ESPN has stated that Canelo Alvarez will be fighting Charlo and Terence Crawford this year, 2024. One fight in May, the other fight in September. Here's my thoughts on that. As far as Charlo, a lot of people out there are giving Canelo Alvarez slack for fighting Charlo. Let's not forget, Canelo Alvarez at one point of his career was being slandered by other YouTubers, other content creators. They were saying that he was avoiding Charlo. They were saying that Canelo Alvarez avoids black fighters. Canelo Alvarez has been fighting so many black fighters. He's been very successful against black fighters, with the exception of Floyd Mayweather. He recently beat the other Charlo brother, Jamel. I get it, man. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and try to pronounce which one's name, whatever. I'm not doing all that. What I will say is this: he's fighting Charlo. Better late than never. Do I wish Canelo Alvarez will be fighting the David Benavidez right now? Absolutely. But I'll take the Charlo fight for now. It's an interesting storyline. Canelo Alvarez has been very successful defeating brothers. He beat the Smith brothers, he beat the Cotto brothers, and now he's about to run through the Charlo brothers. Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, they were rivals for a little while, from 154 to 160. And it's arguable that Canelo Alvarez at one point did duck Charlo, right? But since that time, Charlo never really got a chance to build his legacy. He never got a chance to make his own lane. What David Benavidez is doing right now, he's making his own lane. He beat Caleb Plant, he stopped Demetrius Andrade. By the time Canelo fights him, that's going to be a mega fight. Do I believe that fight happens? Absolutely. But first, Canelo Alvarez has to get past Jamel, whatever, the Big Charlo. That's what I'm going to call him. He has to get past Big Charlo first. And if he does, he has a mega titanic fight with Terence Crawford, who I'm about to speak about right now. Terence Crawford came off a scintillating performance over his arch rival, his nemesis, Errol Spence Jr. He destroyed him in 7 rounds, stopped him brutally. Now, a lot of people are going to criticize and say, oh, Canelo Alvarez shouldn't get no credit if he beats Terence Crawford. I disagree with that. If Canelo Alvarez beats Terence Crawford, moving up 3-weight classes, I will give him a nice amount of credit for that. Because Terence Crawford is not just any fighter moving up in weight. Terence Crawford, to me, is the modern day Terminator. He goes in there, he studies you, he downloads the data, and then he takes you apart. Terence Crawford right now is the most dominant fighter in boxing. The most consistent fighter in boxing. Terence Crawford is not the type of fighter that has a great performance against one opponent and then has a subpar performance against another opponent. And there's been a lot of great fighters that have had performances in the past that were lackluster, but Terence Crawford has been on an incredible run, despite the fact that you might want to say some things about his resume, and a lot of guys might have not been in their prime when he beat them. But at the end of the day, he's destroyed everybody he's fought. And then he beat Errol Spence Jr., a fighter who I had in my top 5 pound for pound. Terence Crawford is not that much smaller than Canelo Alvarez. I mean, in weight he is, but in height he's not. So I would definitely give Canelo Alvarez credit if he were to beat Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Just like y'all would have given Marvin Hagler credit if he would have beaten Sugar Ray Leonard, who came out of retirement for 3 years to come back and beat Marvin Hagler. Now, people say this is a lose-lose for Canelo Alvarez. I disagree. Because even if Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez, it doesn't take away from his legacy. Because once again, I don't hear people taking away from Marvin Hagler's legacy, who lost to Sugar Ray Leonard, who was inactive for 3 years, who never fought at 160 before, right? Marvin Hagler is still considered top 3 greatest middleweight of all time. So Canelo Alvarez is still going to be an all-time great, even if he loses to Terence Crawford. Now, if Terence Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez, you got to mention him amongst the top 5 pound for pound of all time. Top 5. I'm talking about guys like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Roberto Duran, Manny Pacquiao. Those are the guys that Terence Crawford will be mentioned among if he beats Canelo Alvarez. Me personally, don't get me wrong, I have my other opinion about Terence Crawford as far as who he should fight next. If it were up to me, it would be Jerron Boots Ennis. And even with the potential Canelo fight down the road in September, I still would like to see Jerron Boots Ennis next for Terence Crawford. I believe Terence Crawford should give the young lion an opportunity. But for Terence Crawford's sake, for his sake, right? Before moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez, I believe Terence Crawford should at least get a fight in a higher weight class to gradually acclimate himself to 168 pounds. I would like to see Terence Crawford fight Jaime Munguia next, right? In May. I would have said the winner of Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman, but that's going to wait. That's going to be too much further down the road because those two guys are fighting in March. And Canelo is going to fight Charlo in May. And if he wins, September, Terence Crawford. So there's no room for Terence Crawford to fight the winner of Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. So I would like a Jaime Munguia fight for Terence Crawford in between. Like at 160 pounds or 163 pounds, somewhere in between, so he could acclimate himself and fight at a larger weight. But regardless, people are going to complain. Boxing fans are fickle. I'm a boxing fan. I'm all for it. Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford. I'm not with Canelo Alvarez versus any fighter coming up in weight. And I'm not with Terence Crawford fighting guys moving up in weight. Crawford versus Teofimo. Crawford versus Devin Haney. Crawford versus Gervonta Davis. Those smaller fighters need to build their legacies. They need to clean out their divisions. They haven't proven to be the best in their divisions yet. So I'm not with Crawford fighting those guys. Crawford, even though he did not fight Jerron Boots Ennis, but let's face it, Jerron Boots Ennis hasn't fought anybody neither. So if Terence Crawford is going to avoid Jerron Ennis, then it might as well be against someone where he's really testing himself against. And if it's Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford is a bad motor scooter, in the words of Bill Haney. Terence Crawford is out there trying to build his legacy. Canelo Alvarez is putting the finishing touches of his legacy together as Terence Crawford is. I still want to see the Benavidez fight, assuming Canelo beats Charlo and Terence Crawford. Nevertheless, 2024 so far, it's looking like it's going to shape up to be a very good year in boxing. With that being said, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Low Nose Boxing, because Low Nose Boxing. I'm out.